Well, let's return now to President Donald Trump's State of the Union address with our business editor, Stephen Carroll, who joins us in studio. Stephen, you've been looking into some of Donald Trump's claims about the US economy.
The economy, a big theme of this and many recent speeches by Donald Trump as he seeks to put emphasis on his record since taking office on this issue. Now, US economic growth is strong and unemployment is low, but was everything the president said about the economy true? Well, let's take a look at some of the big claims that he made. Firstly, he said that our economy is the best it has ever been. Now, it's true that it has been growing for a record 11 years in a row, but the rate of growth is far from being the best ever, and things like wage growth have also been stronger in the past. On unemployment, President Trump said the average unemployment under my administration is lower than any administration in the history of our country. The jobless rate is at a 50-year low in the United States of 3.5%, and at an average of 4% since Donald Trump took office. It is the lowest, so this is entirely true. Staying with jobs, President Trump said that under Barack Obama, over 300,000 working-age people dropped out of the workforce, and in his 3 years of administration, 3.5 million joined the workforce. This is the issue of participation, particularly important when unemployment is low. Now, the figures here are a little bit unclear because the president didn't define what he means by working-age people, and these figures don't match any particular age group in the American workforce. If we look at the total labour force, though, under Barack Obama, that labour force rose by 5 million people, and it has also risen by 4.9 million so far under President Trump. On the issue of trade, Donald Trump hailed his new agreement with Mexico and Canada, saying that it will create nearly 100,000 new high-paying American auto jobs and boost exports for farmers, ranchers and factory workers. Now, this is an exaggeration. The US International Trade Commission estimates just 28,000 auto industry jobs would be created in the 6 years after this trade deal. A different government forecast predicts 76,000 jobs would be created, both well short of that 100,000 figure cited by Donald Trump. Agricultural exports, meanwhile, expected to increase under the new deal, but only by 1.1%. OK, moving on to some other news now. And in China, where Airbus has become the latest company to close a factory as a result of the coronavirus outbreak, it says its assembly plant in Tianjin has been shut down so that workers won't have to travel there. Companies here in France are also feeling the effects of their suppliers shuttering plants because of the quarantine. Catherine Viette has the details.
This company in northern France imports forklifts made in China, and it's running low on supplies. Concerns are mounting about how quickly its dwindling stock can be replenished.
About 400 units of the machine.
So we have 200 units less than usual.
With the coronavirus taking a toll on factory production in China, it's a real headache for the company.
At the moment, we have enough stock to meet the demand in Europe with the product that can be seen here. But it is possible that within a month or two, we'll be strongly impacted by stoppages of production in China.
As factories lie idle in China, the effects are being felt globally. In South Korea, Hyundai has shut down its plants because of a lack of parts made by its Chinese subsidiaries. Here in France, certain sectors that are heavily dependent on imports fear the fallout from this stoppage, especially those that rely on parts and materials made in China.
Among these industries, there are textiles, household appliances, and the computer sector and telecommunications.
Several French companies that have factories in China, like automaker PSA, have confirmed they've closed their sites. But they've been quick to say the issues in China have, for the moment, not impacted their operations in France.
Meanwhile, coronavirus is still an issue for the Asian markets today. Shares in Asia rising today, and that's as investors there feel optimistic that China's efforts to curtail the spread of the coronavirus are working. The Nikkei in Tokyo finishing the day up 1%, Shanghai up 1% as well. Of course, these markets had big falls earlier in the week on this issue. Shares in Europe starting the day in the red, though, looking towards different issues, particularly corporate results. Shares in the German industrial firm Siemens down around over 1% at the open today. That's after its latest financial results were weighed down by weaker performances in the energy and auto sectors. Well, finally for me, an advertisement by the low-cost airline Ryanair has been banned in the UK. The print, radio and TV ad Ryanair claimed to have the lowest carbon emissions of any major airline. The carrier said that was based on their use of newer, more fuel-efficient planes. The UK's Advertising Standards Authority took issue, though, with some of the figures the company provided, which dated back to 2011. It ruled that the environmental claims were misleading and ordered the ad to be removed. Eve.
OK, Stephen, thanks a lot for that. Stephen Carroll there, our business editor, with all the latest updates there.